Hi, Jim. Thanks for everything that you do. You've played without question a huge role in my financial success so far. I'm an early career physician, 3 years out of training. The largest bucket of my net worth is in a taxable brokerage account at Vanguard. That account is about $400,000 now and invested primarily in passive index funds. My question is about SIPC insurance. I understand that SIPC insures brokerage accounts up to $500,000. Does that mean that I should open a new taxable investment account at a different brokerage firm once my taxable account at Vanguard exceeds $500,000? And then should I be doing that again each and every time my taxable account assets increase by another 500,000? It seems that would get very cumbersome and complex, especially as assets in my taxable accounts grow into the multiple millions. Do you keep all your taxable index fund investments at the same firm, or do you recommend opening multiple brokerage accounts to keep the balance of each account less than 500,000? Similarly, I know that FDIC insures regular bank accounts up to $250,000. So does that mean that you recommend opening multiple bank accounts in order to keep each account under 250,000? Thanks for all your valuable help.
Okay, this is a really insightful question about SIPC insurance. And SIPC insurance is pretty interesting stuff. This is basically the insurance that helps brokerage that's a member of this organization to provide insurance to the people who are using the brokerage. In some ways, it's like FDIC insurance at your bank or FCUA insurance. But in other ways, it's a little bit different. It protects against the loss of cash and securities, such as stocks and bonds, that's held by a financially troubled brokerage. Okay, the limit is $500,000, which with a lower limit for cash, not money market funds because they're considered securities, but for cash of $250,000. But keep in mind that most customers of failed brokerage firms are protected anyway, right? Because just because the brokerage firm goes out of business doesn't mean you don't still own the securities, right? You still own the securities, the shares of stock. They're not tied up with Fidelity. Just because Fidelity goes out of business doesn't mean you don't still own your shares of Apple. So it's not quite the same as FDIC insurance that you might see in a bank where, if that bank goes out of business, if you didn't have FDIC insurance, you'd lose all your cash in that bank. That's not necessarily the case at a brokerage firm. And so keep that in mind. But here's the way it works. Okay. It protects up to $500,000 per institution per account owner. Okay. So you could have up to $1.5 million protected at Vanguard. If you have $500,000 in an account in your name, $500,000 in your spouse's name, and $500,000 in a joint account. And of course, if you have IRAs there, they also get $500,000 of protection apiece. Keep in mind, this is slightly different from the FDIC. If you go to a bank, it's $250,000 per person. So you get $250,000 for your account, $250,000 for your spouse's account, and you get $500,000 for your joint account, $250,000 for each of you. That's just the way FDIC insurance works. SIPC insurance is a little bit different. But remember that this isn't a bank. Even if your brokerage does shut down or becomes insolvent, there's other layers of protection that will shield you from loss before the SIPC steps in. And FINRA has actually said in virtually all cases where a brokerage firm ceases to operate, customer assets are safe and typically are transferred in an orderly fashion to another registered brokerage firm, right? Because you're not investing in the brokerage firm. You're investing through the brokerage firm in other investments, and those investments are fine. But keep in mind what SIPC does not protect against, right? It does not protect against losses. If your investment loses money, this does not protect against that. It does not protect against you getting bad advice from a financial advisor, right? So keep that in mind. What it protects against is the brokerage firm going out of business. Just like a bank going out of business with the FDIC. So you asked, what do I do? Well, we have all our taxable assets in one account at Vanguard. It's much more than $500,000. So I guess I would say I'm not terribly worried about this. But if you're really worried about it, I guess you could have a his, hers, and ours account at Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab, and E-Trade. You put all that together, it'd add up to $6 million of protection. I'm not sure the insurance is worth all that hassle, but if you think it is, feel free to do that. That's what you would do. If you want your questions answered by the White Coat Investor, record your question at whitecoatinvestor.com/YQA or click the link in the description.